After 60, 99% die from these 5 killers. Can you escape? After 60, death isn't waiting, it's already here, lurking in the bacon you fry, the stairs you climb, the cough you ignore. That salty snack you munch without a care. It's a heart attack loading its gun. That wobbly step you shrug off every morning. It's a fall ready to snap your spine. That dusty fan humming in the corner. It's choking your lungs to collapse. That dizzy spell you laugh at over dinner. It's a stroke coiling to strike. That forgotten name you joke about. It's dementia creeping in, ready to burn your house down with you inside. These aren't, someday, threats, they're killers stalking your every move, right now, in the life you think is safe. You sip your tea, flip on the lights, shuffle to bed blissfully blind as 99% of deaths after 60 spring from traps you step over daily. No warning, no mercy, just a split second, and your family's left with a coffin and questions. How did this happen? It's not fate, it's the breakfast you ate, the rug you didn't fix, the checkup you skipped, and you don't even see it coming. This video rips the blindfold off 5 bloodthirsty culprits behind that 99%, so close they're breathing down your neck, so savage you'll gasp when we name them. What are they? You'll squirm, you'll sweat, you'll beg to know, because they're not just stats, they're the endgame for your parents' hugs, your friend's grin, your next sunrise. Don't you dare skip this, turn away, and you're signing a death warrant for the ones you love, or yourself, any second now. Miss this warning, and you'll regret it for a lifetime or what's left of it, watching them fade, helpless, because you didn't listen. Every word here is a lifeline, a jolt to save them, to save you. After 60, death's not a whisper, it's a scream in your kitchen, your hallway, your mirror. Watch this, or lose it all. Right. 1. Heart disease, the quiet muscle killer. Mary, a 62-year-old from Ohio, bustling through her Saturday routine. She's frying bacon for breakfast, the sizzle filling her kitchen with that familiar comfort she's loved since her kids were small. Lunch is a quick burger from the drive-thru, greasy, salty, perfect after a long week. By evening, she's on the couch, feet up, scrolling through her phone, heart thumping a little harder than usual. Just tired, she mutters, popping an extra handful of chips. Last night, she felt a twinge in her chest, sharp, fleeting, gone by the time she brushed it off as gas. But this morning, as she pours her coffee, that twinge explodes. Her mug crashes to the floor, her knees buckle, and she's gasping, clutching her shirt as her husband dials 911, voice cracking with panic. Mary didn't see it coming, none of us do. That bacon, that burger, that lazy night, they weren't just habits, they were assassins, loading a silent bullet into her heart. After 60, heart disease isn't a distant someday, it's the quiet muscle killer stalking your every bite, your every sit down, ready to pull the trigger when you least expect it. It's not dramatic, it's devastatingly ordinary. You sip your soda, grab a frozen pizza, skip the walk because the couch feels too good, and all the while, your heart's begging for mercy. That organ, the size of your fist, pumping life through you every second, doesn't scream when it's dying, it whispers. A little shortness of breath you blame on the stairs. A tightness you chalk up to stress. A flutter you laugh off over dinner. But behind those whispers, heart disease is the #1 executioner after 60, claiming lives with a stealth you can't outrun unless you fight back. Mary thought she was fine, her family thought she had decades left. One heartbeat too weak, and she's a memory, her grandkids sobbing over a breakfast table that'll never feel the same. This isn't rare, it's your kitchen, your TV, your next meal, and it's coming for you, your spouse, your best friend, unless you open your eyes. Science doesn't lie, it terrifies. The American Heart Association crowns heart disease the top killer past 60, mowing down millions with no fanfare. High blood pressure silent, symptomless, strangles your arteries, forcing your heart to strain until it snaps. A Lancet study pegs it cold, over 50% of 60-somethings have hypertension, most clueless until the ER doors slam shut. Decades of salty fries, fatty takeout, and sugary drinks clog your pipes. The Journal of the American College of Cardiology says each excess gram of sodium jacks your risk 10%. Sit too long, and your circulation stalls. Circulation clocks a 20% heart strength drop in sedentary 60-plus folks. Mary's twinge wasn't gas, it was her heart waving a white flag, ignored until it surrendered. The BMJ adds the kicker: 70% of first heart attacks hit without warning. You don't feel the countdown, you feel the collapse. But here's the lifeline, the tear-stained hope: you can stop this. Mary's husband wishes he'd known, wishes he'd swapped that bacon for oats, dragged her out for a walk, checked her pressure at the drugstore. The New England Journal of Medicine proves it: cutting salt and moving 30 minutes daily slashes risk by 40%. A handful of nuts, a brisk stroll, a $20 BP monitor, small, unglamorous shields that could have kept Mary's laugh in that kitchen. You're not powerless. Every bite of spinach, every step past the mailbox, every skipped soda is a punch back at the killer. Don't let it win. For Mary's kids, it's too late. For your family, it's not. Check your heart, feed it right, move it now, because that quiet muscle's screaming for you to save it, and them, before the silence falls. 2. Falls and injuries, the slip you don't see coming. Meet Jack, a 63-year-old from Portland, the kind of guy who still mows his own lawn and cracks a beer with the neighbors every Friday. This morning, he's in his socks, padding across the living room to grab the remote. Same old dance he's done 1,000 times. The rug's corner curls up just a hair, a nuisance he's meant to tape down for months. He doesn't see it. One step, his foot catches, and in a flash, he's down, arms slamming the coffee table, a sickening crack echoing as his wrist twists wrong. He lies there, stunned, pain shooting up his arm, the TV blaring some ad he'll never hear. His wife rushes in, eyes wide, voice trembling: "Jack, oh God, Jack." Yesterday, he laughed off a stumble on the porch. Today, he's on the floor, blood pooling under his sleeve, wondering how a rug could betray him. After 60, falls aren't clumsy moments, they're the slips you don't see coming, turning your home into a minefield, ready to shatter your bones, your freedom, your family's peace in one cruel second. It's not a fluke, it's a nightmare in your hallway, your kitchen, your life. You kick off your shoes, dodge that creaky step, reach for the top shelf without a thought, and every time, gravity's waiting, fangs bared. That loose sock, that dim light, that wet tile, they're not annoyances, they're assassins plotting your fall. Jack thought he was steady, his kids thought he'd chased them around for years. One tumble, and he's facing a cast, a walker, or worse, a coffin his wife can't bear to pick. This isn't old people stuff, it's your next move, your next day, and it's coming for you, your parents, your friends, unless you wake up. After 60, the ground's not your friend, it's a thief, stealing breath and years with a snap you'll never forget. The numbers scream what Jack didn't hear. The CDC brands falls a top killer after 61 in 4 over this age hits the deck yearly, millions landing in ERs, thousands never getting up. Osteoporosis International chills the bone, 30% of 60-somethings have thinning skeletons, your wrist, your hip, they're glass waiting to shatter. Balance fades, the Journal of Gerontology clocks a 25% drop in stability by 60, muscles softening, reflexes slowing. Meds pile on, the BMJ flags blood pressure pills for dizziness, a trap Jack never suspected. Injury prevention seals it, a single fall doubles your death risk within a year. Infections, bedsores, despair swallowing you whole. Jack's rug wasn't a glitch, it was a loaded gun, cocked by time, ignored until it fired. But here's the heartbeat of hope, the tear-streaked fight: you can dodge this. Jack's wife replays that morning, wishes she'd taped that rug, swapped his socks for grip, nudged him to stretch those legs. The American Geriatric Society backs her regret: 15 minutes of leg exercises daily cuts fall risk by 35%. The Lancet Public Health proves it: handrails, better lights, non-slip mats / tumbles 50%. A quick doc chat about meds, a $5 rug tape, a walk around the block. It's not fancy, it's fierce. Jack's kids need his lawn mowing grin, his wife needs his Friday toast. Don't let the floor win. Scan your home, strengthen your stance, grip your life because that slip's coming, silent and swift, and only you can break its fall. Save him, save them, save you now. Do you think the above reasons are correct? If yes, leave number 1, if no, leave number 2 in the comments below. 3. Respiratory diseases, the breath thief. Meet Linda, a 64-year-old from Atlanta, brewing her tea in a kitchen that smells like home, dusty curtains fluttering, the old ceiling fan whirring through another humid day. She's got a cough, a dry little nag she blames on pollen, nothing a sip of honey can't fix. This morning, she hauls the trash out, a bit winded, but who isn't after a sleepless night? By noon, she's on the porch swing, fanning herself, chest tight, brushing it off as the heat. Last week, she skipped her flu shot, too busy, she said, chuckling with her grandkids. Tonight, that cough turns wet, a rasp that claws her throat, and by midnight, she's wheezing, blue-lipped, her daughter's frantic voice begging the 911 operator, she can't breathe, please, hurry. Linda's tea sits cold, the fan still spins, and her family's world cracks open. After 60, respiratory diseases aren't a distant chill, they're the breath thief, snatching your air from the dust you sweep, the smoke you shrug off, the stillness you sink into, ready to choke you out when you're not looking. It's not a far-off plague, it's your living room, your car, your every inhale. You crack the window, let the city haze drift in, curl up with that musty blanket, skip the walk because the couch calls louder, and all the while, your lungs are drowning. That tickle in your throat, that huff after the stairs, that, just a cold, you ignore, they're not quirks, they're warnings, sirens your body blares as the thief tightens its grip. Linda thought she had time, her daughter thought she'd hear that laugh forever. One gasp too weak, and she's a hospital shadow, her grandkids clutching a teddy bear she'll never hug again. This isn't rare, it's your dusty shelf, your smoky grill, your next breath, and it's stealing you, your mom, your neighbor, unless you fight it. After 60, air's not a gift, it's a battlefield, and the thief's winning. Science hits like a gut punch. The COPD Foundation names respiratory diseases COPD, pneumonia a top killer past 60, with chest charting a 20% lung capacity plunge by this age, air sacs fraying like old cloth. Environmental Health Perspectives maps the crime, years of dust, mold, secondhand smoke, each puff slashes lung function 15%. Linda's pollen was COPD creeping in. The Lancet Respiratory Medicine says 1 in 5 over 60 have it, half clueless until they're gasping. Pneumonia's worse, the BMJ clocks it as a death sentence for 30% of 60-plus hospital cases, a cold flipping fatal when immunity fades. The American Journal of Respiratory Care adds the sting, inactivity starves your lungs, mucus pooling, infections feasting. Linda's fan wasn't cooling, it was stirring her doom, ignored until it struck. But here's the raw, tear-soaked hope, you can wrestle your breath back. Linda's daughter replays that night, wishes she'd dusted those curtains, pushed that flu shot, dragged her for a walk. The New England Journal of Medicine swears it, 20 minutes of movement daily boosts lung strength 25%. The Lancet proves vaccines cut pneumonia odds by 40%, a needle for a lifeline. An air purifier, a cracked window with a filter, a stroll past the mailbox, it's not rocket science, it's love in action. Linda's grandkids need her tea time giggles, her daughter needs her porch chats. Don't let the thief win. Dust your corners, breathe deep, jab that arm because that air's yours to claim, and they're yours to keep. Fight now, or lose it all in a wheeze. For respiratory diseases, the breath thief. Imagine Tom, a 61-year-old from Chicago, tinkering in his garage on a Sunday afternoon. The air's thick with sawdust, the old heater puffing out a faint smoky haze, same as every weekend for years. He's got a cough, a scratchy little pest he blames on the wind, nothing a swig of beer won't drown. This morning, he hauled a bag of groceries up the stoop, panting a bit, muttering, legs are getting lazy. By dusk, he sprawled in his recliner, TV buzzing, chest feeling like someone's sitting on it. Just a bug, he grunts, skipping the dock again, too much hassle. Last night, that cough turned vicious, a wet hack that woke his wife, Sue, her eyes darting in the dark. By dawn, he's gulping air, lips tinged gray, Sue's hands shaking as she fumbles the phone, screaming, "He's not breathing right, help us." The garage sits quiet, the recliner empty, and Sue's sobbing echoes where Tom's laugh used to fill the house. After 60, respiratory diseases don't creep, they pounce, stealing your breath from the dust you stir, the chair you slump in, the cold you shrug off, ready to rip your life apart when you turn your back. This isn't a stranger's tale, it's your basement, your car exhaust, your every lazy day. You light the grill, crack a window to traffic fumes, skip the stairs because the remote's closer, and your lungs are choking, pleading through every wheeze you ignore. That dry throat, that huff after a chore, that "it's nothing," you tell yourself they're not quirks, they're the thief's fingerprints, tightening around your chest. Tom thought he was tough, Sue thought she'd hear his snoring forever. One breath too shallow, and he's a ghost, his kid staring at an empty toolbox, wondering why dad didn't fight. This is your smoky barbecue, your dusty blinds, your next inhale, and it's hunting you, your parents, your pals, unless you face it. After 60, breathing's not a right, it's a war, and the thief's got the upper hand. The facts cut like a knife. The COPD Foundation ranks respiratory diseases COPD, pneumonia among the deadliest after 60, with chest clocking a 25% lung capacity fade by this age, airways fraying like worn ropes. Environmental health perspectives lays it bare, decades of dust, car fumes, cigarette whiffs each hit carves 10% off your lung power. Tom's bug was COPD stalking him. The Lancet Respiratory Medicine says 20% of 60-plus folks have it, half blind to the trap until they're gasping. Pneumonia's a grim reaper. The BMJ pegs a 35% fatality rate in over 60 hospital cases, a sniffle turning lethal as immunity crumbles. The American Thoracic Society twists the blade, sitting still lets mucus fester, infections thriving. Tom's recliner was his accomplice. No warning shots, just a collapse you can't outrun. Yet here's the fierce, tear-drenched hope, you can claw your air back. Sue replays that Dawn wishes she'd cleared the garage dust, pushed that flu jab, yanked him off that chair for a walk. The New England Journal of Medicine vows it, 20 minutes of brisk steps daily pumps lung strength up 30%. The Lancet swears vaccine/pneumonia risk by 45%, a prick for a lifeline. A $30 air purifier, a mask by the grill, a lap around the block. It's not fancy, it's a roar of love. Tom's kids need his garage grumbles, Sue needs his bear hugs. Don't let the thief steal them. Crack a window, move your feet, fight for every breath because it's yours to win, and they're yours to hold. Act now, or lose them in a gasp. 5. Cognitive decline, the mind's slow fade. Meet Sarah, a 62-year-old from Seattle, stirring spaghetti sauce in her cozy kitchen, the radio humming an old tune she's sung for decades. She's the glue of her family, always the first to call her kids, crack a joke, plan the Sunday roast. This afternoon, she blanks on her grandson's name mid-story, laughing it off as a senior moment, while her daughter smirks. Later, she misplaces her keys again, grumbling as she digs through the couch cushions. By evening, she's staring at the stove, a faint whiff of smoke curling up, wondering why the pot's boiling over when she swore she turned it off. Just tired, she mutters, shrugging as her husband, Dave, nods from the recliner. Last night, she wandered to the mailbox in her slippers, dazed, until Dave found her, his voice trembling. "Sarah, where were you going?" The kitchen's quiet now, the sauce burned black, and Dave's holding her hand, tears brimming, as her kids whisper, "What's happening to Mom?" After 60, cognitive decline isn't a gentle drift, it's the mind's slow fade, unraveling your memories, your home, your loved ones, one forgotten name, one scorched pot at a time. This isn't a distant fog, it's your coffee table, your phone, your every blank stare. You forget the grocery list, skip a chat with friends, slump into the TV glow night after night, and your brain's slipping, eroding under the weight of silence and sugar. That missed word, that lost key, that "I'll call tomorrow," they're not slips, they're cracks, your mind crumbling while you wave it off. Sarah thought she was fine. Dave thought he'd hear her hum forever. One fade too far, and she's a stranger in her own skin, her kids clutching a photo she doesn't recognize. This isn't rare. It's your next dinner, your next nap, your next oops, and it's coming for you, your mom, your brother, unless you grab it by the throat. After 60, your mind's not a rock, it's sand, washing away unless you hold it tight. Science doesn't flinch, it terrifies. The Alzheimer's Association tags cognitive decline a top death dealer past 60. Dementia turns forgetfulness into danger. Nature aging maps the decay, brain blood flow drops 15% by this age, neurons starving without a fight. The Lancet Neurology nails it, loneliness doubles dementia risk, every solo night chips your recall. The BMJ links junk food, those chips Sarah loves, to 20% faster brain shrinkage, inflammation frying your circuits. Neurology warns, 1 in 3 over 60 show early signs. Sarah's blank was a flare, ignored until the stove blazed. Accidents killed. A Journal of Geriatric Psychiatry says dementia triples risk of falls, burns, wandering deaths. One lost thought, and your house is ash, your family's broken, your mind's fading, and it's taking you with it. But here's the raw, heart-pounding hope: you can claw it back. Dave replays that night, wishes he'd pulled her to bingo, swapped chips for walnuts, read her the paper aloud. The New England Journal of Medicine swears it, mental games, puzzles, books cut risk 30%. The Lancet Public Health proves exercise pumps brain blood 25%, a walk beats the fade. The American Journal of Clinical Nutrition says omega-3s, fish, nuts slow decline 40%. A chat with friends, a crossword, a stroll with Dave, it's not fluff, it's fire. Sarah's kids need her sauce, Dave needs her voice. Don't let the fade win. Talk, move, feed your mind, because it's yours to save, and they're yours to keep. Fight now, or lose her in the smoke. This isn't the end, it's a heartbeat, a battle cry, a promise breaking through the fear. Heart disease didn't have to silence Mary's kitchen. Jack's fall didn't have to steal his Fridays. Linda's breath didn't have to fade in Tom's garage. Tom's stroke didn't have to hush his grill. Sarah's mind didn't have to burn her home. These aren't monsters you can't face, they're shadows you can chase away with every choice, every care, every moment you refuse to let slip. After 60, nothing's scary if you hold your health like a torch, lighting your days, your family's laughter, your unbreakable spirit. Imagine Mary's grandkids tasting her bacon again, Jack's beer raised high, Linda's tea steaming, Tom's burger sizzling, Sarah's sauce simmering, because you cared, because you fought. This isn't just your story, it's theirs, ours, a thread tying us tight. Turn fear into fire, love your heart with every step, guard your steps with every grip, breathe deep with every move, shield your brain with every chat. But don't stop there, carry this to your parents' porch, your grandparents' table, your kids' future. Check their pressure, tape their rugs, dust their corners, walk with them, laugh with them, because nothing's more precious than their voices in your life. One small act, of veggie swap, a handrail, a puzzle keeps them here, keeps you whole. No reapers win when families rise, when love outshouts the fade. This video's a spark, fan it. If it shook you, lifted you, lit you up, smash that like, share it with every soul you cherish, subscribe and ring that bell. Let's flood the world with stories that heal, that hold, that save. Together, we don't just live, we thrive, we love, we last. Act now, keep them close, keep them forever.